Hi there, welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. So good to be with you on EWTN Radio. That's right. Why did I emphasize the word radio, Debbie?
Why did you?
I don't know. Because we're on the radio.
Yes,
Debbie, you know why I emphasize the word radio.
Because of the show today.
That's right.
We're talking about Catholic radio and all the blessings that come out of Catholic radio. It's pledge drive season. Jerry and I are actually on the road right now working a pledge drive, and it made us really reflect about there comes those times where we're asking for money and asking people to generously give to support Catholic radio and television, EWTN. But we also want to share with what comes out of Catholic radio, because the blessings that flow forth, Jerry, oh my goodness. I mean, you and I, we could write volumes of books on the testimonies that come in from people on a daily basis, how Catholic radio has been their lifeline, their source of Catholic faith 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we want to share this together and just celebrate how beautiful Catholic radio is. And of course, Catholic television with EWTN. So we're excited today. This is a great show.
Yeah, so your takes today are as follows. You could basically share anything you want about what listening to Catholic radio has meant to you. I'd be curious to know how you discovered that there's a Catholic radio station in your area.
Good one.
Because, Debbie, you know the bumper sticker stories, right? We hear them all the time. People will be driving along, and all of a sudden the car goes past them, or that they pass on the freeway, has a Catholic radio bumper sticker, and they go, what was that frequency? I'm going to tune it. Oh, listen to this. All of a sudden, a life has changed. So, folks, our phone lines are open. What does Catholic radio mean to you? What role does it play in your life? 800-585-9396. And like you said, Debbie, some of the stories are quite dramatic, actually.
Very. I mean, lives have been saved, marriages have been saved, babies have been saved. People have seen that 10-cent bumper sticker, Jerry, that you're talking about, and it has made them change direction in their life and start listening to Catholic radio. See, I get chills when I think about this, because somebody for over 10 cents. See how God works? 10-cent bumper sticker changes somebody's life because they start listening to Catholic radio. They're filled with the Spirit, and they're making good choices for themselves. This is a huge evangelization work in Catholic radio, and I think it's important that we go back and we really understand how it is a necessary part for us in formation, because then, Jerry, only then will people feel like, you know what, this is a worthy cause for me to invest in. 1-800-585-9396. We also can receive your text messages. Text the letters EWTN to the number 55000. Maybe a data rate applied to that. So just you have to know and be familiar with your text messaging plan. So we don't want you to incur any extra expenses if that would be the case for you. But if not, then text EWTN to 55000. Wait for a response, then text your first name and your comment about Catholic radio. But we want to hear your voices, too, at 1-800-585-9396. You put out there a question or a challenge for somebody to call in to share how they learned about Catholic radio. I would love to see if or hear if somebody could call in and share with us how they maybe listened to Catholic radio in the privacy of their car for many months without anybody knowing. You know, they didn't want their family to know. They didn't want their coworkers to know. So they would go to their car, they'd listen to Catholic radio shows, and it started to transform their heart and soul. And when did they finally unveil to everybody that they'd been listening in the privacy of their own car? Because we know that there is a lot of people out there, Jerry, that do exactly that.
Yeah, another thing, too, is Catholic radio has empowered so many of us to have the answers to the questions we're going to face. It could be your son or your daughter tugging at your shirt sleeve. Mommy, Daddy, explain to me about the Trinity, or tell me more. I don't understand how Jesus can be in a little piece of bread on the altar when the priest says those words. Help me understand that. Or a neighbor or a coworker, maybe someone who issues you a challenge about the Catholic faith. Oh, you Catholics do such and such, or you believe such and such. And by listening to Catholic radio, you have had the knowledge and the information and the answers to politely and charitably respond and maybe turn that mind and heart around, Debbie. This happens quite often as well.
Absolutely. So share with us. We want to learn from you today. 1-800-585-9396. You're going to be speaking to Jeff Burson today. Matt Gabinski is out. He's under the weather a bit, so please keep Matt Gabinski in your prayers. He's such a wonderful person to work with. with, and we want him to get well very quickly. But Jeff is answering the phones right now, and you'll love him equally as well. He's super fun to talk to, and you'll be put on hold. You can listen live, and then you can come jump in on the conversation. Jerry, I just want to share real quickly. You know how Catholic radio has impacted me?
How?
I'm a better driver, and it's the truth. And I say this all the time, but I really am a better driver. When I turn on Catholic radio in my car and I'm praying the rosary or I'm listening to different shows, I just feel my body calms down. I'm a better driver on the road. So that's worth it.
Yeah. Excuse me. And for me, I think one of the most important things is, and I would love to hear somebody's take on this, with everything going on in the world and the way the media, most of the mainstream major media outlets report things, and quite frankly, in my estimation, not necessarily always just report the news, but actually even create the news or put a spin or a slant on the news. How important is it to you that we maintain our place at what I call the media table? All the media people gathered around the table, different messages, different philosophies, different ideologies. What about the Catholic message? How important is it to you that we have the Catholic radio station that you're listening to right now? 1-800-585-9396. Or again, you could text EWTN to 55000. Going to be, I think, an enlightening discussion, Debbie. You and I, like you said, we have a lot of our own stories that we could share, but this is for you, dear listeners. This is for you to call in and let us know the impact that Catholic radio has had for you, how you discovered it in your area, how you use it to grow and share your faith. 800-585-9396.
What's stopping you from becoming a Catholic?
Why can't women become priests?
I don't understand why I have to earn salvation.
How is it possible that God created everything?
Why do I need to confess my sins to a priest?
Why is the Catholic Church so unwilling to
The Catholic Church is too rich.
Catholics worship Mary and are
As far as I'm concerned, all religions are equal.
You are called to communion with Dr. David Anders. Today, 2 p.m. Eastern, on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Don't wait another minute. Now is the time to make your plans for the 2016 EWTN Family Celebration. September 17th and 18th are the dates, and Birmingham, Alabama is the place for our celebration of the life and legacy of Mother Angelica. Kids can have a fun-spirational time at EWTN's Faith Factory, where they can meet Brother Leo and sing along with the Donut Man and Duncan. And best of all, it's free. For more information, go to EWTN.com/family celebration.
EWTN Religious Catalog is your online destination for Catholic books, DVDs, rosaries, devotionals, and more. And every purchase directly supports EWTN's mission. Ready to shop? Visit EWTNRC.com today.
This is Janet Benkovic, host of Women of Grace.
Hello, this is Cardinal Donald Wuerl of the Archdiocese of Washington.
This is Gloria Purvis, host of Morning Glory. Thanks for listening to the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
So glad you're with us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. And we're talking about what has Catholic radio done for you. And it is pledge drive season, so Jerry and I felt it was just appropriate to do this topic today so we could talk about and celebrate how Catholic radio has made an impact in your spiritual life. So we're going to go right to the phones. Andre, you're first up in South Dakota, listening on the Lamb Radio. Hi, Andre. Welcome.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I guess I just wanted to tell you guys a little bit just about how I heard the station and what it's done for me.
Yes, absolutely. Tell us.
Okay, well, I used to listen to a Protestant radio station that came on the same channel that this one was. I won't name it, but, it was informative, but it wasn't exactly what I was looking for. But one day, I'm a delivery driver, so one night I turned the radio on, and it's Mother Angelica. And normally, that doesn't come on that station. And I tell you, I listened to the first sermon, and I was sitting in my car. I had to pull over because I was crying because it was such a beautiful sermon or a beautiful talk that she was giving.
Sure.
So hearing Mother Angelica, and then I figured out what it was. It was Lamb Catholic Radio, and they had just started the station in South Dakota. And so it's pretty much become all that I listen to in my car, from when I wake up to I work till 1 or 2 in the morning. So I hear all the stuff that comes on and all the things from Raymond Arroyo to Dr. Mitch Pacwa, and it's really given me so much more. I have not a Catholic yet, but it's allowed me to know more about the Bible, and I'm also a Bible teacher, and it's allowed me to finally learn how the Bible goes together, the Old Testament and the New Testament. And, listening to Father Mitch Pacwa, I learned so much about the New Testament and what came after the first, people that wrote the Bible, like the 200s and the 300s and the 400s and Constantine and all the stuff that I thought was what the Catholic Church was, but it really wasn't.
So, Andre, let me ask you this. You were very clear when you said, I'm not a Catholic, and you said, yet. So is your heart is your heart tugging to lean towards the Catholic Church? Because, you're part of the family. We want you officially in the family.
Yes, I know. It's been a long road, and when I was 17 years old, my mother paid for me to go to the Vatican, actually.
Wow.
And so I saw the Vatican, and I saw all of that, and that's really the first thing that kind of pushed me towards being a Catholic. And then, like I said, it's just kind of been tugging on me since then. And then I finally, one of my acquaintances died in a car accident.
Oh, no.
And that was the first time that I had to go into a Catholic church. And just so the whole thing of being in one and hearing the service. And then I actually have a priest friend. I think he's a retired priest friend that works out at the same time I work out. And so he talks to me a lot about being, a Catholic. And then I listen to you on the radio. And so, yeah, I'm very being pushed to be one, but I guess I just need to take the next step and go to RCIA,
Well, and it's in God's time, Andre. You have to be comfortable doing what you're doing. You're right where God wants you right now. And I would like to ask you, if you don't mind, another quick follow-up question before we let you go. And I want you to be real honest. This is not a self-serving question because Debbie and I are on the radio or anything, but as you listen to Catholic radio, do you find it to be welcoming and a resource that you're getting objective information without being how am I trying to say this, Debbie? Sometimes people can beat people over the head with the Catholic faith and say, you need to be Catholic and the church is true and it's the one and only faith. Yeah, we believe all of that. But, Andre, I want to know, do you find it to be
welcoming,
charitable and welcoming? And, again, not just because Debbie and I are on the radio, but it sounds like you have found it's disarming in the sense that it's appealing and attractive. It draws you in. I'm just curious about that.
Yes, it does, and I have to mention Catholic Answers that comes on because they do get a lot of questions from they're kind of hostile, and they really take them very calmly, and they never get angry. And a lot, especially like Mitch Pacwa, and then you listen to Mother Angelica, and even you guys, when I listen to you guys, people call in, but you guys are very nice, you're very welcoming, and it's never, you're not a Catholic, so you're out, or you're not a Catholic, so we don't like you. It's always, we're brothers, and sometimes you guys say it, we're brothers, but we're, just a little bit outside, and that we have, some truth of the faith, but we don't have it all. And so that really helps for people to hear that, it's not, you're out, and it's not that, you don't have any truth. It's just there's a fullness of truth, and there's, everything goes together. And the Catholic Church, that's just, there's so much that as a Protestant, I'm questioning, with, even when we talk about communion and that sort of stuff, the real body and the real presence, as I read the Bible, always, even as a kid, that's what I understood, and it took me going to a Catholic church and listening to this radio station for me to understand that no, Protestants look at it a different way, and there's a different way of looking at it, and it just seems that that's what's in the Bible. And the same way with the Pope, I read the Bible and I always understood that there was a person above all of it, and he was, the Pope. But it took me listening to you guys to be able to, I live in Protestant land. I talk about the Pope all the time, and I'm a apologist for the Pope quite a bit. But it's just, before I couldn't explain why, but listening to, Father Mitch and Catholic Answers, everybody has the same questions, and they answer them, and they get a good answer, and it is loving, and it's warming, and, even though you guys talk about the issues and that sort of stuff, it's not the media spin. It's just what it is. And it's what us Christians and Catholics should learn, and it is the truth.
Andre, you've called us before, haven't you?
I have, and I called a while back. So I have called. That's the thing. I listen to you guys all day.
Oh, thank you. Yes, because as you were talking, I recognized your voice, and I just wanted to say again that the Take Two family, we believe in the power of prayer. You know that because you listen to the show. So all of us are going to be praying around you. So feel those prayers. And like Jerry said, in God's timing, when you do finally find that perfect RCIA program, let us know so we can just walk with you on your journey. We would love to celebrate with you. It really warms our heart to do that. You can't even imagine how beautiful it is when people come into the Catholic faith, especially converts, because they're so on fire for the faith, just like you are. Andre, you sound like a great Catholic already. I just have to tell you that.
And by the way, Andre, I'm going to be in Sioux Falls there for Lamb Radio's Pledge Drive. That is September 21st through the 23rd. Maybe you've heard about it already, but if you get a chance to stop by the station, I would love to meet you in person when you bring your pledge by. Wink, wink. All right, how does that sound? September 21st through 23rd. Stop by. I'd love to shake your hand.
All right, that's fine. I'll try my hardest.
All right, thanks, Andre. Our prayers are with you, as Debbie said. Okay, we're talking about Catholic radio, its meaning, its impact, how it has helped to shape your faith life. TJ is in Iowa listening to EWTN Radio. Hi, TJ. You're up next on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi.
Hi.
Hello. How you doing?
Good.
Doing well, thanks.
I just wanted to share. I was coming down the highway after work one day. It was dark, so it must have been later in the winter. And I didn't have the radio on, or so I didn't think I had it on, and I just heard this voice say, testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. And it startled me, and then silence again, and then a little while later I heard it again. And then eventually a man's voice says, there's going to be a Catholic radio station on this part of your dial. I didn't know what station I was even on. And it was coming in like a month or two, and they were going through all their regulations with the government to get set up. And so I was so excited when I found out it was a Catholic radio station. And I just thought it was like a miracle. And in Fort Dodge, where I live, we can't pick up any signals from Catholic radio. So out here on my acreage west of Fort Dodge, I can, and it comes out of Storm Lake. And I guess there was a abandoned tower around Storm Lake, and so they wanted to get a Catholic station started, and so they acquired that tower. And I can just pick up a signal here in Canoke, Iowa, when I'm working out here, and it's so inspirational. I just love it. It makes it so much funner to be out here.
Is that on your tractor, TJ?
I couldn't hear on my mower because it's and as I stand here in the yard, I'm looking at a little yellow bird and a garter snake right below me. And
oh my goodness!
Because I have to stand out in the yard to pick you guys up.
Oh, okay.
So TJ, so you found it by accident, and now you listened. If help us. We're on, as I said earlier, Jerry and I are working a pledge drive right now. Help us. How would you inspire people or motivate people to give generously to Catholic radio? I would be curious, just from your experience.
Well, I would say just listen, and if you listen for 2 weeks, you will be totally immersed in it, and you'll have a great idea what it's all about and how it can change your life and just bring joy to your heart.
Divine Intimacy Radio.
What we're going to be doing in the coming weeks, in the coming months, I'm very excited to begin studying the writings of Teresa of Avila. We're going to be going through a book called 30 Days with Teresa of Avila. This isn't a book study show, so we're not going to be reading the text necessarily, and line by line going through that. That'd be a little strange for radio. But what we will be doing is reflecting on the wisdom from her letters.
Divine Intimacy Radio, Sunday, 6:30 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 11 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Check out EWTN's official YouTube channel.
Just follow the link on our homepage at EWTN.com or go to YouTube.com/EWTN.
Watch EWTN's live shows or today's homily from the Daily Mass.
Click the upload button to see our most recent clips.
You can also find all of EWTN YouTube content by clicking the playlist button.
It's all on the official EWTN YouTube channel at YouTube.com/EWTN.
Visit today.
Hello friends, Father Wade Menezes here of the Fathers of Mercy for EWTN Radio with another Mercy Moment for the extraordinary Jubilee Year of Mercy called for by Pope Francis. While the Jubilee Year of Mercy officially ends on November 20th, 2016, the Solemnity of Christ the King, the promotion of God's greatest attribute, His mercy, is surely meant to be practiced, proclaimed, and extended to all on a continuum by each one of us. Let us always remember, friends, that mercy is who God is. It's love's second name. God is more interested in our future than in our past. He's more interested in the kind of person we can yet become than in the kind of person we used to be. While indeed taking our sins seriously, no doubt, whether mortal or venial, because they have in some way severed or wounded our supernatural relationship with Him, God never, ever takes those sins as the last word. Why? Because He knows He's made us in His image and likeness. He knows He calls us constantly to Himself to live a life of sanctifying grace, and He knows He is our God. In the Compendium of the Catechism of the Catholic Church, number 391, we are posed with this question, quote, "What does the acceptance of God's mercy require from us?" The answer, quote, "It requires that we admit our faults and repent of our sins. God Himself, by His Word and His Spirit, lays bare our sins and gives us the truth of conscience and the hope of forgiveness." Mercy, my friends, is the disposition to be kind and forgiving, a disposition we no doubt want God to practice towards us. Founded on compassion, mercy is the ready willingness to help anyone in need, especially those in need of pardon or reconciliation. And that's another Mercy Moment. I'm Father Wade Menezes of the Fathers of Mercy, and God bless you.
Get an insider's look at the latest information from EWTN. Sign up for Wings, EWTN's weekly email newsletter. Get the latest information about live events, special features, and guests. Connect with EWTN on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Just go to EWTN.com and click on the Wings link to sign up. Don't miss a minute of all that's happening at EWTN. Get your wings today.
Looking for a unique setting for spiritual renewal at a religious shrine so beautiful it had to be divinely inspired? And the world's largest religious media network? Start your Catholic pilgrimage today with EWTN. Call 205-271-2966.
Rory's an incredibly fit young man in training with the Marines. One of his comrades is flat out chubby. During training, they had to do 60 burpees in 8 minutes. If you don't know what that is, Google it. It's a painful exercise. Marines were snickering at Rory's friend and he was about to give up. Rory got right in his face and shouted above all the other voices, "You look at me. All you see is me. All you hear is my voice. You can do this. And he did. A week later, Rory's commander gave him the challenge. Everyone do 60 burpees in 8 minutes. Rory, you do 80 burpees in 6 minutes. At the end of his strength and unable to go on, his friend ran out of nowhere to his side. Rory, you look at me. You can do this. And he did. When life's exhausting you and negative voices cause self-doubt to creep in, Jesus is there at your side, shouting at you. You listen to me. All you hear is me. All you see is me. You can do this. Listen to him, friends. This is Chris Stefanik from reallifecatholic.com on EWTN Radio.
I'm Raymond Arroyo with Mother Angelica, A Remarkable Life. When she was here at Sancta Clara at this monastery in Canton, Ohio, Sister Angelica had a nickname in the cloister. It was Miss Fix-It. She was the person they turned to whenever the appliances went on the fritz, or in one instance, the leaky basement began to flood. Mother Angelica was called in to fix it. She assembled a crew of fellows from the old neighborhood, became foreman of the project, and it would be the first of many projects this nun would preside over throughout her life. Stay with EWTN as we continue to celebrate the life and legacy of Mother Angelica.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
Hi, it's Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, and we're talking about something that is really, really valuable and important, and that is Catholic radio. And we don't want to over-spiritualize anything or give the enemy too much credit, but you talk about something good, and a little glitch will happen occasionally. We just had, where we are, we're on the road. Debbie said we're at a station hosting a pledge drive this week, and so we're in one of the offices, and the little what do you call it, the battery backup pack that we were all plugged into ran out of juice, so they had to run in here and get us rehooked up again. So apologies to all of you, especially TJ, who was sharing some great wisdom with us, Debbie.
TJ was awesome, and it happened right in the middle of your sentence, TJ, and we're so sorry, but we think we've got the gist of it. We asked you, how would you inspire people or motivate people to give to Catholic radio, and you said just start listening to Catholic radio, and after 2 weeks you'll be absorbed in it or hooked on it or whatever, and it's so true, TJ. We wish we could have shared with you. You are right on. You hit a home run on that one, because it is true. When people start listening to Catholic radio, they become, in a good way, addicted. In a good way, because you're getting closer to God and you're hearing the truth 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So we had that technical glitch, but now we're back up and running, and phone calls are lighting up, and that's a good sign. You have a lot to share.
Yeah, and all of you who held on, thank you for that. You all get our Virtual Patience Award today, and we will get to each one of you, so thank you. Please hang on for just a few more minutes here. Peggy is next in Jackson, Michigan, listening to EWTN Radio on Good Shepherd Radio. Hi, Peggy. Tell us what Catholic radio means to you.
Well, I first heard about Catholic radio at a women's conference in Lansing. I had never heard anything about Catholic radio before that. Mm-hmm. And so I got so involved, I started volunteering before we went online or on air, and we've been on air 2 years now.
Wow.
So we just celebrated our 2-year anniversary.
Congratulations.
Yes, congratulations. So you probably hear... Go ahead.
I just love it when I hear people say, I heard it on Catholic radio.
Right.
It just thrills me.
Right. And in that 2 years, Peggy, how many times have you heard that statement? Hundreds of times? Because we have.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear it all the time at church, in Bible study, just walking in the mall and somebody, don't you have something to do with that radio station? Yeah, I volunteer there. You want to?
There you go.
It's beautiful.
So, yeah, because we're run by volunteers. That's
Oh, that's
what we
awesome.
are.
That's a ministry.
That's a great point. We have to acknowledge the volunteers who are often like you, Peggy, unseen, and we try to thank volunteers as much as we can. And I know stations do a good job of that. But without you, Peggy, and all of you who volunteer for your Catholic radio station and pray for it and support it financially, it just simply wouldn't be there. So, Peggy, you're doing great work there.
Yes, thank you. And I'm just so thrilled that, to hear people say that. I really am.
Right. Well, keep listening to the rest of the show because there's a lot more phone calls coming in and other people want to share their stories, and I think it'll warm your heart as well, Peggy. God bless you. Thanks for the call. Thanks for volunteering, and congratulations again on 2 years at Good Shepherd. Awesome. That's beautiful. Okay, I'm just so excited. Each call, I just get more and more excited. I'm almost tempted to pledge again and give again. Okay, Dee, you're listening to EWTN Radio in Michigan on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Dee. Welcome to Take Two.
Oh, my goodness. Decalotus to Jerry and Debbie. Thank you for taking my call.
Oh, thanks, Dee. You're very kind.
My Catholic radio journey began in Kansas City on KEXS 1090, and through the miracle of prayer and Catholic radio, my husband converted to the Catholic faith in 2008.
Wow.
After my powerful reversion in 2001, and he was, I'll just go along with you, babe, and drop you off at Mass and go get the groceries, and, a little proselytizing from our humble Knights of Columbus in Richmond, Missouri, and then Catholic radio came on, and now we live in Lansing, Michigan, and I really pray that Peggy and her Good Shepherd radio will creep a little north on the highway so we can have our own Catholic radio here in Lansing. But through the blessing of Sirius, I do get to listen to EWTN 24/7. And Catholic radio has been instrumental in broadening my faith. I am a Curseista, and by listening all day long, I am always studying our Catholic faith, which leads me to greater piety and more action. So without Catholic radio, life would be very dull and uninformed.
And Dee, you've touched on so many things there, and one thing that it reminded me of is how many pastors and priests appreciate Catholic radio for the very reasons Dee was pointing out.
Yeah,
because people
catechesis during the week.
Yeah, maybe those who come back to or into the faith, they're on fire, they're active, they're involved in the parish. Those who have always been practicing their faith become more involved. Donation stewardship goes up, time, talent, treasure. So, Dee, it's really a no-lose proposition, and it sounds like you have discovered that.
Indeed, and it's a pleasure to be able to, hey, I heard this on one of the talk shows today, whether it's, Take Two or, Crazy Dr. Ray, and, or Jeanette Bankovic. I mean, come on. They're
Beautiful,
great.
yeah.
And you can share the links to the articles, and maybe people don't want to read, but they'll listen to a podcast.
Right.
They'll listen to something you send them, or you can post it on the, Facebook or Twitter. You guys, EWTN is great at infecting in a positive way all of social media.
Yeah.
And it helps us catechize other people who, might not actually have the facts straight on what the Catholics believe. And when I lived in the Kansas City area, I had a friend come over who helped me keep up with my house and my yard and stuff. And she is Mennonite. And she would come over around the time of 11 o'clock and noon. And in the Kansas City area, they ran Mass at 11, and then Dr. Ray came on at noon. And she would say, hey, turn on that crazy guy who says all those things about how people should be influencing their children. And so I'm like, great, cool, you know who he is. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You never know who's going to be listening.
That's exactly right. And Dee, that's what's so great about Catholic radio. Like you said, you can share the podcast, you can share the rebroadcast, you can share all that. And social media is a great way to do it. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, about how people can like the EWTN Catholic Radio Facebook page, because we're trying to get to 10,000 likes. Because, when you get to that amount, we can really reach people even further than we do now. But Dee, something I just wanted to share. First of all, please tell your husband welcome to the family. 2008, I know, is still on your mind because it's a special day when people come into the church, and we can only imagine how beautiful that day was for you when your husband came into the church. But I want to just share this, and I mean this sincerely. If Catholic radio existed only to bring your husband into the church, then it was all worth it.
Amen, sister. Amen.
Yep.
I could not agree more. And now I just have one question.
Sure.
Since I've called in Jerry and Debbie, do I get to be on Jerry and Debbie's prayer list now?
Oh, absolutely, for sure.
Well, yes.
Yay! I am famous.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes, I'll put you in the book forever. But also too, you can go on to take2show.com and hit that bright yellow button, the JD button, and the prayer wall is active. So you can always check on the prayer walls. I post some. I needed some prayers last week, so I posted, and a lot of people prayed for me, and I was really grateful, Dee. So it's a great way to keep it going. Yeah.
I appreciate it. You guys are amazing. I really enjoyed the show. I've listened from day one. Thank you so much.
Oh, thanks, Dee.
Bless you, Dee. Thank you so much for joining us on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie, talking about Catholic radio and its meaning in your life. 1-800-585-9396, and just keep your dial right here on EWTN Radio. 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Catholic Answers Live, 2 hours as always. And today, Father Tad Paholchik will have bioethics for the rest of us.
Oh, wow.
It may sound like it's, what? But bioethics really touches on so many of these areas of life that science and technology, these advances that we're making, they may be good, they may be immoral. Father Tad helps to unpack all of that. And then a pro-life open forum in hour number 2 with Dr. George Delgado. Okay, Becky, you have been waiting so patiently. Thank you, listening to EWTN Radio in Brighton, Colorado. Hi, Becky, you're next.
Hi there. Thanks so much for having me on.
Sure.
I just want to first say I am a proud cradle Catholic, and how EWTN Radio has helped me personally. I always grew up with parents that very much, we prayed the rosary every night, and my dad always had EWTN on TV. We haven't always had it here in Denver on the radio. Sorry, I am nervous.
Don't be.
Don't be. We're friends.
Well, my husband calls it, I get Becky voice. I get a little shaky.
Don't worry, I get Becky voice all the time, so we're in good.
Excellent. Anyway, so love my faith, but a couple of things I just wanted to share. I love our story, and I love listening to Catholic radio because I love hearing everybody's story. And we all have that, and it's all inspiring. So a little of my story, my husband and I adopted a sibling group of 3. Adoption was a couple years ago. We're going on our 4th of everything, Christmas and everything. So it's just absolutely wonderful.
Beautiful.
But in that time, I've been blessed to be a stay-at-home mom. And in that time, too, I just feel God moving in me. And EWTN Radio really is my prayer throughout the day. And so, I'm a little emotional. And it's wonderful in my marriage. It's been 15 years of no kids, and then we came into kids. And so we listen together. My husband is a UPS driver. And what I wanted to share with him that I love is he's out there evangelizing with it. He hooks up his radio and has it cranked up. So he'll be at businesses unloading, and he has people say, hey, what are you listening to? Or, hey, that's great. I love what you're listening to.
Wow.
So it's just across the board. It's wonderful in our marriage. It's wonderful in my own faith life, and it's awesome. So
I loved when you said EWTN is your prayer. I love that. And I agree with you so much, Becky, because when I have it on, I'm just a better person in general. I know I am. And when it goes off the radio, I'm like, oh boy, here I go. I got to face the world again. And when I'm hearing the truth, because the truth is so, it's like milk to a baby. It's beautiful. It makes sense. And it sounds like it's doing that in your beautiful life as you have your wonderful family and with your marriage. And that's what we need other families to listen to, so they know that there is help out there. And Catholic radio is one of those tools that we can lean on. So I'm glad you shared this, Becky, on a global scale, because there's a lot of marriages who are that are hurting and families that are torn apart, and maybe Catholic radio can be that thing that brings them together. Anything else you wanted to share with all of us?
Well, I was just going to say, in that, because my husband, we used to carpool before we had kids, and we would listen to our morning radios, and sometimes that would be what we would talk about, whatever games they were playing. And we really come together now at the end of the day and say, hey, did you hear what Dr. Ray had to say? Or, my husband's in Bible school right now, and so, kind of working on apologetics and different things. It's a wonderful way for us to be together throughout the day and grow in our faith. And so it's just an amazing blessing, and I can't say enough wonderful things about it.
Kind of like matrimonial glue.
Oh, I love it. Yes.
You can borrow that, Becky. You can use that anytime you want.
I think I will. Thank you.
And,
all right.
And Becky, you have a beautiful voice.
Yes.
We love your voice.
Oh, thank you. No, it's Becky's voice. But thank you. I texted him and said, "Oh, listen, I'm nervous." So
good. Well, what's his name?
What's his name?
His name is Jake.
All right, Jake. Hope you're listening. And
I hope so too. I hope he's got it loud and proud out there.
what do you want to tell Jake and your kids?
Oh, I want to say that I love them so much. I am so blessed, and I can't wait for our story to keep unfolding.
Beautiful. Becky, thanks for calling. We appreciate it so much.
Thank you so much.
All right. We've got a couple of texts here real quick. Larry, I love what Larry says. Larry, via text message, it's EWTN. You can text that to 55000. Larry is self-employed, loves Catholic radio. Debbie says he learned more listening to Catholic radio for 3 years than he did in 6 years in the seminary.
Oh, my goodness.
So, Larry,
wow.
I'm joking here, Larry, because I spent 6 years in formation for the priesthood too, but maybe you just were sleeping through classes or something, Larry. I'm teasing.
Wow, that says a lot.
Yeah, well,
really
a lot
does.
of people say that, and this is no commentary on Catholic education or anything, but Debbie, we hear it all the time. People learn more, and it's a personal disposition as well as the quality of the education. But people often say, and you hear it too, listening to Catholic radio, people learn sometimes more than they did maybe in 12 years of Catholic school. So
Right. Wow, that's huge. The impact that Catholic radio is having, and this is why Jerry and I, we go around the country to try and raise funds, the necessary funds. They're necessary to keep stations on the air. And so it's so important when EWTN is asking, or your local radio station, please be generous, please. It's a great ministry. You're hearing the effects of it. Like, we're going to go up next to Donna, who's listening in Indiana. Hi, Donna. Thanks for waiting. I think you did get the Patience Award, Donna.
Hi, Donna.
Hello.
Hi, Donna.
Hi there.
You're on.
Hi, I am.
You are.
Okay. I come from a really small town in northern Indiana, and I was raised very conservative, Mennonite brethren and so forth. And to make a long story short, I've had some really hard things happen to me in church, and something recently was monumental. And so anyway, one day, all of a sudden, 95.7 coming through South Bend, Indiana, was on my radio, and I did not turn it to that. I believe that with all my heart, and I've been listening to Catholic radio ever since. And a friend of mine, I've been going with her to Mass, and on Saturday nights, and I just can't even tell you, I'm learning so much. I feel like I have tons and tons to learn, but I am, like I said, I haven't joined the Catholic Church yet, but certainly I have a feeling that's in my future, and I want to keep going to Mass. And then I have the friend that I went with. I'd like to share this. The friend that I went with, I really love her, and then we took another person with us this last week. And on the way over, we were talking about whether we could take communion, and of course I don't. I cross my hands and go up and receive a blessing. And my friend who had taken me there the first time was like, she said to this friend, she said, "Oh, you cannot take communion." Well, she had lived in Spain and was raised Lutheran and has taken communion all her life in those situations. And so she was so deeply hurt and didn't even know what to do as we entered, the parish and so forth. So that's kind of my experience in a nutshell. I'm going to keep going to Mass and studying and learning, and I have a lot of healing that needs to be done in my life. God has already started that healing.
Beautiful.
But yeah, that's That's
Well,
my story.
Donna,
I'm 73. I'm 73
Wow.
years old. I've been divorced for 20-some years, and so that's part of my story too.
You don't sound it. You have a very youthful voice. Your voice comes across. Yeah. I was gonna guess in your 50s. So that's awesome. Keep that voice.
Well, it just happened in the church and it ended up, not being a good situation for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was youth sponsor. I started at age 70 and impacted dozens of kids' lives. And so that was a blessing. I think that's why God had me there.
Yeah.
Because so many needy kids in this little town of Napanee, and the drugs are so bad here. It's just really sad. So I love kids. I love teenagers.
Beautiful. Donna, a couple things. Same thing we want to offer to you, and that is that you're going to have the Take Two family praying around you, that when the timing is right and you find that perfect RCIA program and you want to come into the church, then we'll be praying that with you, because you share something with the first caller, Andre. Andre said he's not a Catholic yet, and you said the same thing. So here's the challenge, if you're still listening. Andre, pray for Donna. Donna, pray for Andre. Because you guys are on that path, kind of journeying together side by side, and that's what we're called to do as Christians, is to lock arms together through prayer or through actual support, and to really walk together closer to God. So there's my offer for you, Donna, and the challenge too for you and Andre. And please keep us posted. We love to celebrate your journey into the church. Will you do that?
I will do that. I promise.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you, Donna. We appreciate that. And she's listening, by the way, on Redeemer Radio. And speaking of share-a-thons, I got to get a plug in for any chance I get. I'll be hosting Redeemer Radio's share-a-thon. That is October 24th through the 28th. And I'll have the great joy of being in South Bend the first part of the week, and in Fort Wayne the second half of the week. So
lucky you.
I know. I just love, and Debbie and I love going out and hosting pledge drives. And we talk, we give parish missions and speak at conferences, either individually or as a team. So if you've got an event coming up, we've got a parish mission in Phoenix, in Chandler in November, and a few other things coming up. So we would love to come out to your area and meet you. We could do a live radio broadcast.
I was just going to say that.
From On Location, which we're going to do in Phoenix. So that'd be good. Let's see. We had John in New York on our YouTube channel sent in this note. He says, Catholic radio helped me back into the faith.
Wow.
And
Way
we
to
hear
go,
that
John.
all the time, John. Thanks for sharing that. And Amanda, we're going to go to you next, listening to EWTN Radio on Denver Catholic Radio in the great Mile High City. Hi, Amanda. Welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Hi, how are you guys?
Better now that you called.
Oh, good. So I just wanted to share sort of the impact of the whole EWTN network. I'm a cradle Catholic. My husband converted to the faith in 2011, and he actually discovered EWTN. We started listening like on our phone apps, and like he would listen to the live stream at work. And then when we ended up getting a minivan, when we were expecting our second child, we got satellite radio. So I started listening to the EWTN satellite radio all the time. And a few months after that, I had a very difficult pregnancy, and my water actually broke at 26 weeks. And so I, 2 weeks later, went into the hospital, and I was told that I was going to stay until the baby was born. And at that point, I was 28 weeks.
Oh my
and
goodness.
I was just devastated because my oldest had turned 1, and I wanted to be home with her, and I couldn't go to Mass. And I feel like it was an extremely difficult time, an extremely trying time to be separated from my oldest, to be there and to not be able to leave. And EWTN became a bit of a lifeline for me. It was a place that I could go for comfort on Sunday mornings. I would watch the Mass stream since I couldn't attend Mass since I was stuck in the hospital. And it was just a huge source of comfort. And it was also interesting, too, because I got to know all the chaplains there that summer, the 5 weeks that I was there before my youngest, Gianna, was born. I got to know them because I would go to the prayer service that they had twice a week. And because I had been listening to EWTN, I was able to have really interesting conversations with them. And I feel like I had an impact on some of those pastors and some of those, because they were actually going through a training class on how to become a hospital clergy member. I don't know why the word's escaping me, but I had interesting conversations with them. a chaplain. They were going to a chaplain course, so it was always like the prayer services is like me and 8 chaplains in training. And so it was just quite an interesting experience. I felt like I got to share my Catholic faith in a new way, and I felt like I was more knowledgeable about my Catholic faith because I had been listening for months. It was all I listened to in my car. It's still all I listen to. Now I listen on KRCN on 1060 AM. We have our own station now in Denver that's more recent, so I listen to that. So, but I just wanted to share, EWTN as a whole has just really impacted us, and my husband and I always share stories about it with our friends, and we lead a Bible study in our church. We're constantly talking about it at the dinner table, or after the kids are in bed. Like it's so much food for our marriage and for our spiritual life and for our children. So we're just very grateful to EWTN.
Yeah, and Amanda, your point proves so many things, but one thing that I want to zero in on is every gift we receive from God is, yes, for us, but also for others. And what you're proving here is this gift called Catholic Radio. We cannot keep it to ourselves. There are people who are hungry. There are people who are starving. I always like to say, one soul lost is too many. Mm-hmm. One soul that goes to hell is one too many. And so we all, by our baptism, by our calling from God, have an obligation to evangelize. What better way to do it? Debbie, we hear it all the time. People say, I can't be behind a microphone. I can't teach apologetics. I can't record DVD sets on the faith. Okay. Pray for your Catholic radio station. Support it financially. Absolutely. Put a bumper sticker on your car. Tell people at your parish. Amanda, it sounds like that's what it has done in your life, and that's just fantastic.
Yeah, we celebrate with you, Amanda. Beautiful story, and we're so blessed that you called in today. So thank you for taking that time. You're raising a family, and we know that takes time away, but thank you for doing it because you helped others around the world, and that's so important.
I wish we had time. Please forgive us. It's that time of the show that the only part of the show that Debbie and I don't like.
I know.
Is when we have to end the show and not get to some of the calls. So
Can we run down the list?
Tarinda and Andrea and Frank and Glenn, please post on EWTN Catholic Radio. By the way, EWTN Catholic Radio Facebook page, we're 189 away from 10,000. Let's get there today.
Let's do it. What a great challenge.
189 likes on EWTN Catholic Radio.
Oh, that is awesome. You just got to invite a couple friends.
Can you guys do that for us?
Yeah,
I know you can.
Yeah, we have faith in our Take Two family. Are you kidding? It's awesome. You guys are great. And all of you calling in today, thank you. And texting, you guys are doing great texting. Sorry we couldn't get to all of you, but tomorrow we've got another show planned for you.
Yeah, tomorrow's the Feast of Our Lady of Sorrows, and we're going to ask you to go a little bit deeper tomorrow. What sorrow have you faced and overcome? That's our topic tomorrow on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Until then,
have a beautiful and blessed day. See you real soon.